Bonjour!
Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new review in which we're going to talk about one of my most hated tier 10, aka the Jagdpanzer E100. Of course, this review is not really going to be objective simply because I hate that tank, but still, we're going to try to see the good aspects of the tanks, even if there is not so much. Let's jump directly into it. First, you don't have any turret. That's something that is commonly known among tank destroyers, but that's nice to have a turret sometimes, but it's not the case of the Jagdpanzer, unfortunately. For the aim time, long aim time, bad gun dispersion. I mean, for the caliber, it's fine, but still, 0.32... I don't know, I'm used to play with the Grill 15 and all these kind of tanks that have like 0.28, so when I see 0.32 for me, I don't like it. The DPM of the Jagdpanzer is actually really nice. As you can see, 3.2k damage, which is quite wild regarding the fact that this tank is carrying a 800 alpha damage gun. For the average penetration, same, it's quite insane. You shouldn't struggle too much penetrating your targets. As you can see, 300 with your regular, 380 with your gold shell. Trust me, your shells will go where they have to go. Special ability of the Jagdpanzer, which makes it fine or fun to play sometimes, your HE shells. Trust me, with 85 millimeters of penetration, even if you can't penetrate, shoot with HE, you will do around 3, maybe 4, maybe sometimes 500 damage, and trust me, it's truly worth it. Knowing that if you penetrate, you have 1.2k HE alpha damage, which is wild. Now, for the gun depression, only 6 degrees. It's not that much considering the tank, as you can see, is quite high. It's gonna do the trick in most of the situations because of course you are not gonna play from the ridge line, you are too slow for that. But if we could increase it to maybe 7 degrees, that would have been a little bit better, but who am I to judge? I'm not a developer. Now, for the rest of the tank, that's where the tank starts to suck. One of the worst mobilities at tier 10. Look at this, 30 kilometers per hour maximum, and most of the time it will go around 28 kilometers. So don't try to take aggressive position. It's impossible with this tank because you are going to arrive after the battle is already over. And that's why I hate this tank. I like nervous tanks, you know, tanks that will really allow you to push forward, etc. And I don't feel like the Jagdpanzer E100 is one of them. It's a great tank to hold position if you are getting pushed, but it's not a good tank for you to push. It's a tank that is made to hold, not to break through. Now, for the rest, your ult turn rate sucks as well, so if you are getting circled by a light tank or a medium, bye-bye. Be really careful about that. Always check your map to see where the meds or lights are, because as soon as they are behind you, it's over. How am I equipping my tank? First, gun rammer, because my penetration is way enough, so I would rather decrease, I should say, my reload time. After, I go for the enhanced gun lane drag to reduce a little bit my aiming time, and finally the vertical stabilizer. But I think it's a bad idea. I should go for the refined gun with this tank, because when I do that, you end up with an amazing accuracy, and I'm probably going to do that for the review because I feel like it's the best. After, I go for the defense system. Why the defense system? Because I'm not going to ram anybody, and if anybody is stupid enough to ram me, they will take more damage than I will, trust me. After, I go for the enhanced armor. It might be weird for a lot of you, but with the Jagdpanzer, you actually need to angle the tank. If you angle the tank, it has a lot of armor, and when you're using enhanced armor, it will allow you to increase even more artificially that armor and maybe allow you to get 1 or 2 more bounces in a game, which can be a good thing, let's say it like this. After, I go for the toolbox because enhanced track is useless. Improved optics because I'm not gonna camp, and trust me, with the camo you have on this tank, which is among the worst at tier 10, even if you take the camo rating thing here, it's completely useless. You should go for the improved optics, trust me on this one. After, I go for the improved control, not the engine accelerator, because I would like to help just a little bit my turn rate in case I'm getting circled or something. Maybe there is a building behind me or something that I could use to get me to get rid of the medium or the light tank circling me. That's why I would rather go for the improved control. And finally, consumable delivery system, simply because with more than 14 seconds of reload, trust me, you don't want to use something that will allow you to have more adrenaline on a longer period of time. You would rather increase the not the repairing mechanism, but the cooldown speed of your adrenaline, but also of your repair kit, because most of the time people will shoot at your tracks before circling you. Now let's see what the tank looks like inside Armor Inspector. That's where things are getting juicy, I should say, because as you can see, you have quite a lot of armor on the tank. Your gun mantlet is literally impenetrable by everybody, and if you combine that with the fact that your hull armor is impenetrable with regular shell, it can become quite a good tank if you manage to get it into the right position. You still have that cupola, which is kind of frustrating when you are playing, but in practice, not a lot of people actually manage to penetrate it. And I would be glad if Wargaming actually removed that cupola, but I guess they don't want to do it simply because it would be kind of broken, I guess. For the hull, it's the exact same as the one you have on the E100, which makes the top part impenetrable and the lower part a weak spot. But even if it's a weak spot, still 230 millimeters of raw armor. So if you manage to angle it, you can increase it just a little bit. Now, what is interesting with this tank is seeing how it performs when you use your maximum gun depression. Here, as you can see, you can increase quite a lot your armor profile, especially on the top of the hull. Even if everybody will penetrate you with gold shell, and trust me, a lot of people are playing against you with gold shells. And that's what, in my opinion, makes this tank not worth it anymore. If we couldn't play with gold shell, this would be one of the most broken tanks in the history of World of Tanks Blitz. But now that everybody has access to gold for credits, not worth it anymore. For the rest of the tank, still quite armored. Honestly, if you manage to angle it properly, you could bounce on your side, etc. And at the rear, it's a weak spot, which is totally logic, so we're not going to blame the developers on that. Now, how do you want to use your tank? Let me explain to you how it works, because I feel like it's the most interesting part of the video. What you want to do is putting your gun arc to the maximum on the left or the right, depending on where your enemies are. And doing that, you will see you angle it like that. And look at what happens when you angle the tank like this. First, you increase a little bit your armor profile. But most importantly, if you manage to find a position from which you can hide the lower part of the hull and only show your castmate, if you angle it quite a lot like that, as you can see, it becomes one of the hardest things to penetrate. Of course, people will still go through you if they use gold shells, but that's something unfortunately you can fight against. But pretty much if you angle it like this, like I'm showing you right now, you increase your chances of actually bouncing. Don't do it too much, because if you over angle, as you can see, it becomes quite penetrable. But as long as you keep it at the right angle, you will bounce shells. Alright guys, as I hate that tank, I'm just gonna go for a live battle and hoping to do a good damage, maybe 3-4k. I'm not gonna try a lot with the Jagdpanzer because I hate that tank. Okay, so we are playing on Naval Frontier. Is it a good thing for us? I don't think so, simply because, as I told you, you have a really bad mobility, and that mobility doesn't allow you to cross without taking shots on the left side of the map, like I do traditionally for those of you who are following my streams on pretty much every single stream with pretty much every single tank in this game. Unfortunately for me, my team decided to go on the medium side. Actually, it could be a good idea. You're gonna see why. Let's take a look at what they have in front of us. It seems like they are carrying a lot of medium tanks, so probably that the fight is gonna be on this side. I could go with the rest of my team, and I'm gonna do that because I don't have the mobility to go to the middle there, and I would be quite exposed. That's something I don't want to be in. This kind of situation, it stinks a bit. So what we're gonna do is trying to get with the rest of our team. And as you can see, the mobility, man, the mobility. Look at where the mediums are. They already crossed half the map, and I'm still sitting at the spawn with 15.2 seconds of reload. And that freaking slow tank. It's boring to play. I don't know how people actually enjoy to play the Jagdpanzer A100. I'm not judging, but I really hate that tank. I don't understand why someone would want this tank in their garage when you can drive tanks like Hori or even the 268 or any Russian tanks, in fact. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, and we already get smoked. As I told you, eat shell straight because nobody will shoot you with regular shell. We are not gonna bother too much. We're gonna go straight on that Leo. I feel like I can penetrate with HE. We're gonna try, okay? Yeah, see, that's what is good about the Jagdpanzer most of the time. If you manage to get yourself into a position from which you can shoot HE, that's where you become valuable to your team. Look at this. We did 1.1k damage for the first shot thanks to our great HE. Unfortunately for me, I don't think I'm carrying enough HE on this tank. I should probably increase a little bit the number of HE I got. But hey, We will see that later. For the moment, we are in the game and we are gonna push. Look at this. Luckily for me, he bounced. That's some good news because now I'm gonna use some HE shell and I'm probably gonna try to smoke that poor guy. There we go. As you can see, HE shell in the nutshell. Grill is not even trying us, which allows us to snap some adrenaline, and we're gonna smoke. Yeah, we're gonna smoke that grill, no problem. Boom! As you can see, 3 shots, 3 HE shots, and 3k damage, maybe even a little bit more. That's cool because when you have this kind of armor, people will try to shoot at your allies, unlike no, they will try to shoot at your allies and not you. That's what I wanted to say. Can we sneak in another HE shot? That would be funny just for the video, maybe on the stand B if we manage to get a 1 shot or something, but he's probably gonna die before he can do anything. Snapshot? No. This tank is not great at snapshotting. Don't try too much. Okay, as you can see, I tried to play aggressively. And I say I tried because with the mobility you have, oh boy, isn't it something quite easy to do. There we go. There is the Yag. Thanks to our great penetration, we can sneak a shot on its side cheeks without having to use gold shell. But just for the record, I'm going to use a heat shell for the last shot. Look at this. If he hides, fuck, he hides. Rip. Come on, Yak, show yourself once again, please. That would be perfect. Be gentle. Be gentle, boy. He doesn't want to show himself, and he's not going to show himself. That's in this kind of situation that I really hate that tank. What am I supposed to do? I can't do shit, man. Okay, HE maybe? See the power of HE. We literally shot all our shots with HE, and that's pretty much how you want to play your Yak Panzer. You stick with your team as long as you can with your mobility. When you can, you angle it like I did against the Grill 15 while I was pushing, and most of the time try not to be alone, because when you're lonely you are getting circled by your lights and your medium, or the enemy medium and lights. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Au revoir.